Hey, good guy, how are you? Hopefully you're going well. We'll start in a minute. I'm just still setting things up a little. Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, I can't complain. Just been feeling a bit tired lately. Alright, we might as well start. Welcome everyone. I hope everyone's going well. We're going to continue off where we were last week. So the idea here now is I've got to get the real results into here. And I've got to be able to create that. You're taking a class about JavaScript. Oh, fair enough. How are you enjoying it? Hopefully it's going good. With its weird stuff. For example, JavaScript banana. You can make JavaScript say banana. It's because JavaScript's a bit weird. Alright, so what we were doing is we were getting everything last time. We still got to do quite a lot of, as you can see, there's a lot of to-dos here. We've got to deal with the query string, passing exclusion items through and so forth like that. A lot of that I'm not going to worry about with this initial setup. The reason being is I want to get this working. I can't search for anything at the moment with this. Idea being is we're going to implement the multi-select, so users will be able to click on this and actually search for something, and it'll appear and, you know, make life easier for everyone. So everything all going. At the moment, I just need to get the data from here. And I think that's where I was at last time. I've already forgotten the link which we wanted to do to hit this particular thing. So I'm just going to have a quick search for it. Data. That's it. I'm just going to copy that because knowing me, I'm going to spell something wrong. So it's not finding that at the moment. Alright, and what is this? Now set for here. So it should hit that register. Oh, I know why. Getting the end slash. So there's all the data. This is what we want, and we're going to put it into here. We do need to exclude the self version of it, but that's something we can do once we get that into here, so we can actually visualize everything. So now, one problem is when we move away from it. Oh, that does stay there. All right, cool. All right. Under components, we want the object component. We want the linked objects. So I'm just going to close that one. We're going to minimize that. We've got the all of that. Yeah, we were gonna start putting this down into its own sort of component, really split everything out. When I'm not gonna worry about that just yet though. So we've got the add relationship, which is down here, the add relationship. This is the whole thing. We've just got a bunch of variables in here, which we're not going to have in a minute. Actually, those ones we want. It's these ones we want to remove. So, what I want to do, I'm just going to remove those. Actually, I'm going to keep one. No, there's nothing in there. What I want to do is we want to have an option. We're going to have a v4. And we're going to have object in. And this is where we've got to sort of set up all the data. Yes, socks. Object select model, we want to just call it object options equals ref. I'm not going to put in anything at the moment around that, though I can just look up here and go, it's just going to be those three. So what I'm going to do, this is where we have to, easy to create it with an interface. So I won't deal with creating the type just at the moment, but we know it's going to be that. So if I go down here, we've got object in, and then we've got object options. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm kind of seeing the need for that. I have to create an interface, don't I? Okay. I'll just create one very, very quickly. Hang on, cancel. Oh, I've already got one, I can borrow this one. All right, cool. Object link interface, done. We're not gonna use all of the fields, but that's perfectly fine. I commit to match in here. Not a problem. All right, just give me 2 seconds, sorry. I'm just gonna... All right, so this should be fine now for me to go object dot, and then I should say object type, and then it'll be object dot object ID, and then it should be object dot object title. Now, I decided not to put the status in. Yeah, I just came up with that. So I'm going to be using those three. Yeah, there's three. Should I... I'll need a translation layer for the object type, which isn't hard to do. It's just a computed component. And we just put it up there. But for the moment, I'm gonna leave it like that. All right, so we'll go through all the options. We do need a we need to find the key, which is going to be the object ID. Oh, doesn't like that. Why doesn't it like that? Oh, object ID. Okay, there we go. Got it. And then all I need to do is deal with the value. And that's going to be object. See what? This is going to be easier in this sort of case. What we can do is we can go object.object type. We can do a hyphen, and then we can go object.object ID. So we've got the data there that we could use to translate later on. Easy done. So we've got nothing there at the moment, but we will in a minute. So add object link, we haven't done that. We haven't done the on mounted either. Another problem is when we move away and we come back, it reloads everything in. Which we're gonna have to do this temporarily. Later on, what will actually happen is the user will start typing in there and I'll just start searching. So, under linked objects, for us to actually do that, we've done something a bit clever. We've got the... unmounted. We'll make sure everything is loaded and then we load data in. Is load data equals and then yeah, it does all of this sort of stuff where it grabs the data from the back end and so forth like that. We'll probably sorry. We'll probably end. I've got to think how I want to actually handle this moving forward. Because at the moment, the great thing is, when we load up this page, it ain't going to load anything from documents, notes, or MISC until I go to it. Now, the downside with that is, if I go to documents and load in the documents, if I go back to linked objects, it's going to reload in that data. Now, the upside with that is, if there's been any changes made, it will actually load them back. It'll show the later bit of data. So in this sort of case, I'm kind of like, yeah, that should be fine. Also, the data is so small. We're looking at it at the moment, it's 2 bytes. We don't have any data in here. But what I can do is I can go to number 1. I can move away and I can come back in. That's 398 bytes. So if I add on some terrible throttling like GPRS, I move away, I come back. Takes about that long, and that's terrible internet connection. Otherwise, it's pretty much instant. And I can hide some of the stuff through transition, animations, and so forth like that. So, yeah. Alright. So. We do this through the load data. And we do it through load data. So we've also got a watch where we've got to wait for data to come to make sure that the object is loaded in. And hey, how are you, Tentai? Hopefully you're going well. How have you been? we're not going to worry about this because essentially what we're asking for... Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, sorry. I've actually got to do it like this. I've got to wait for everything to be mounted in, because otherwise I don't know what type of object it is and so forth. That just found out fetch extra package. That's awesome. That's good to hear. So what I've got to do is I've got to do both a mounted and a watch. We've got to also store whether it's loaded or not. So yeah, that's going to be a bit of work to put into here. But yeah, when we actually move this to a searchable field down here, we're going to wait till the page is loaded up, and which it will happen. In which once it's loaded up, should do its thing. Sorry, just give me a couple of seconds. I'm also... sorry. Yeah, there's no condition on that one. All right, cool. So yeah, I'll have to add all of that in. But yeah, later on, we're going to rip that out because this will become a search sort of thing. We'll make it so this doesn't appear until all data has been loaded in. I think that's the best solution. Boop. Yeah. I did want to try one thing actually. Mounted the add relationship. I'm just going to cheat. And then with the linked objects, what I want to do is we want to VF is loaded. We want to double check to see if that is loaded. When data comes through, then is loaded. I'm just going to put console log in here is loaded is true. I'll come back to all of this in a minute. So if I move that off to there and I just hit reload, is loaded true and then mounts that. All right. I might be overthinking this, and this is what I'm testing for. So I'm going to put that to slow speed again. We're just going to go to documentation. Now, if I go back to link object, it shouldn't be requesting data until it loads in. So yeah, if I move away, yeah, that's blank. All right, I'm over engineering stuff when I don't need to. So I just need to do the on-mounted hook. But that usually goes up here. Another thing which I need to do. I needed to find the object store, and what I'm going to do, console log, add relationship. We're just going to change that to that. We're going to go object store dot is loaded. We're going to put it in the destination in there. Now, this is my final sort of test. If it gets down to this stage here, then yeah, perfect. Alright, so moment of truth. I'm going to move that off to the left. Just going to delete everything. I'm doing a hard refresh. I've made a big mistake. Throttling, I didn't take off. Do a refresh, go back to the console, and there I go. Alright, so I don't need to worry about everything. And then if I move away and then come back, alright, I like this. This simplifies everything. And it's also another reason why I want to put this upper bounds 1 into a lower level 2, because then I can just do an is loaded check and so forth like that. And wait till everything's loaded in before mounting those components and, you know, fetching at that bit of data. So, an Elemental Magic's card game. Hello, how are you going? The Mars program element. Alright, welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. We're just going to do async function. This will be load data. We don't need much to go through there. We're just going to add in some code. So when this actually mounts, we're just going to go load data. Easy done. So for us to load data, we've actually got to hit this API. And we're just going to hit the API today and nothing else. Today I made significant strides before becoming a grandmaster, so I'm feeling pretty good. Oh, that's good to hear. Alright, so I want to use fetch. Way too tired, so I'm just going to... because I already forgot the little wait part of it. We're just going to keep that in. In this sort of case, we just got to do this. We don't need that whatsoever. We do need to go method. That's just going to be a simple get. The headers, that's just going to be the simple, I'm just copying this over from here. Pasting it in. The fuck? Y2Y. Alright. Excuse my French. Why? I've deleted the headers. I do, but not in the way you think. I know how to code, so yeah. But there are times, for example, I might be, I can how to split a string into a list and stuff like that, and I'll use it here to generate some quick sort of code that I can use. I can also use it for doing some research, but once again, I don't rely on this. Actually, you've never heard me rant about this before, so I use it as a tool, not a crutch. So I will use it to do little tiny stuff like this. However, most of the times I'll be coding myself. Using Python for the backend, yeah. So I use Django and VueJS for the front end. Like load data, seeing something Copilot can auto-generate for you, but a lot of the times it gets it incorrect, and then I end up having to fix it. So if I'm spending more time fixing up its code, why would I continue? And also, I don't want to use it. I don't want to use AI as a crutch. Then I delete that, then I do that, and then I link that, and I do that. All right. All right, so now that we've got the response back, what we're actually doing is we're putting this data into that array. However, should I won't exclude the self one just yet. It should be just object options dot value equals response dot it is dot data, I think. Maybe not. Maybe it's just response and fetch. No, I've got to actually. Sorry, this is a bit different to Axios. There we go. I'm gonna specify that everything's sort of loaded. We've got to do the error, so do handle errors correctly, because I haven't figured that one out. Error done. All right. Have I tried Claude at all? Yes, I have. What IDE do I use? I'm using PyCharm from JetBrains. Just so that you know this, I actually get it for free because of an open source license. So JetBrains supplies free licenses for open source projects. My recommendation, if you're looking for an IDE, try them out. Try all of them out. Whichever one you feel more productive in and are more productive in, just use that. It's perfectly fine. And Elemental, yeah, let's try not to be mean. I can't spell. All right. JSON pass unexpected character line column. All right. So we've got a problem with passing the data through. So what I'm going to do, just going to, oops, comment that out. I'm just going to go var a equals await response dot JSON. Once we wait for the response, we're just going to go console log data. We're just going to pass it through like that. Just going to see what it's like. Ooh, JSON pass unexpected character line 5 column 1. That's the data we should be getting. And I think it's because I didn't do that. There you go. Yeah, that's it. Forgot the forward slash right there. Just asking questions. If I wanted to know this reasoning as I am learning myself a lot. Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from, Ernie. Sorry, I'm having trouble reading your name. But yeah, guys, I'm trying to keep this a chill place. So, yeah. Keep the arguments to a minimum. But also, I did actually write about my AI usage and so forth like that on my blog. Give me 2 seconds. It's not negative at all. But yeah, this is my key takeaway from it. AI should be a tool, not a crutch. If you start relying on it too much, you're going to lose some of your skills. All right, so we're going to go down here. There we go. That's all we've got at the moment. Sweet. Now, one thing which we could do locally. Now, when we actually do this, when we actually edit this for real, we've got to do this in the back end where it will take out the current object. And the reasoning for that is you can't sort of link the object to itself. It doesn't make sense if you link the object to itself. All right, so a quick way we can do that is we can just do a filter on this. We just add in a simple layer going unfiltered data, and then actually no. It doesn't need a, we're not changing that. And then what we want to do then is object options.value equals unfiltered data dot filter. We just go with a simple row. So there's 2 fields that we're focusing on. If I go back to this data and we go into JSON, object ID, both can't be, object ID and object type can't match. So both of those fields can't match. So return if the row.object ID does not equal, this will be the object store dot location ID. Ooh. Give me a second here. Object store. Left. Out. We've got object store here. Is loaded. We've got the destination. ID. All right. Yep. Sorry, that's my bad. All right. And now this is having a problem here. Because yeah, it's coming through as an any type, but what we actually want to do that as, that will be object link interface, because we're one of these. Do you mind me asking questions regarding AI? I just want to know your opinion about a few things, but I also don't want to. No, that's fine. Ask away. It's just, yeah, my main takeaway is don't use it as a crutch. All right, so that should fix all of that. Oh, I've just filtered out everything. All right, that's not good. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go console log row. Can't type tonight, can I? So object ID equals that one, and object type equals oh, maybe not destination. Oh no, object destination. There. Oh yeah, I got it right. All right, cool. Don't know why that's showing red. Oh, just because. Sorry, object store dot destination. All right, cool. Do you believe it's going to continue to advance the way making SW way too hard to break in or just make most of the job itself prompt engineering? Get into the field because I like coding rather than prompting. What do you think? It's a good question. I'm just trying to think of a way which I can say this. A lot of times when technology comes in and it disrupts the market. So, for example, think the ATM. It came in and a lot of bank tellers sort of... I don't know if you're in an ad. Sorry, that was probably bad timing. Oh, cool, you have Turbot. Then I'll continue with this. So, a lot of bank tellers sort of lost their job because the ATM sort of took over that sort of position. However, it sort of created a lot of other different jobs. So you got the engineering about it. You've got the whole manufacturing process of it. You've got the whole security sector of it. You've got all this different other sort of jobs that have been created because of the ATM. I feel like something similar will happen. Whether or not a lot of people will move out of pure development and go into something like security, which still has quite a lot of development in it. Don't get me wrong about that. Yeah, I don't know at the moment. I'm interested to see what's going to happen. But also, at the end of the day, there will be times I will, jump on Claude and I will get it to generate something because I don't know how to do that. So I'm using it as a tool to research how to do it. I then learn from it. But then again, I don't use it as much. I do find a lot of the times it will make mistakes, especially if you're using Umbraco. For some strange reason, it will hallucinate methods that just don't exist in the later versions of Umbraco. But to get back to what you're asking, I don't know at the moment. There's also, at the same time, if you want to do, let's say, raw programming without an LLM or anything like that, there's nothing stopping you from doing that and having fun with it. And then getting frustrated when something isn't working, only to realize later you had a semicolon in the wrong spot. So, yeah. Things are changing. It's scary. I sadly don't know what's going to happen. So, I wish it did. Be pretty cool. Alright, so I've got that coming out like that. Yeah, that's fine. And then, yeah, this will just be this in here. Well, that's a bit weird how it's not continuing all the way across, but we'll figure that out. It's going to hit refresh. I don't know why it's only grabbing 2. Should be grabbing all of these. So there should be 21 in there. Now, have I done something wrong? And thank you very much for the follow, Ernie. Science is a career. I wanted to be a software engineer, hence I'm scared of having nothing to do when you graduate. But I also don't want to change my career just based on fear. Yeah. Plus what for sponsor? Yeah, that's okay. And thank you very much for the subscription. So yeah, thank you. All the money sort of gathered through the streams and stuff like that actually goes back into NearBeach. So yeah, thank you very much. It is greatly appreciated. So yeah, it is. Change is scary. I'm not gonna lie. Change is always going to be scary. I wish I had something that will sort of wave a wand and, you know, get rid of that fear and make the world a better place. I just can't. But it's also one of those things, if you're dedicated at learning programming and stuff like that, I think you'll be fine. So, yeah, there's still a lot of problems with LLMs generating code and stuff like that. And that's where you'll fit in. All right, so I've just got rid of that. So we've got the object options dot value is unfiltered data, yada yada. That, I don't know why that's giving me that. When I'm having a look at this data, so we're making sure that the object ID doesn't equal that and that doesn't equal that. So we've got two conditions here. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to cheat again. Good old console logs, you gotta love them. We've got false, true, false, true, false. That doesn't make sense. Yeah. Hey, sorry, my keyboard sometimes doesn't want to escape. Alright, so we've got object ID does not equal the object store.id. And the object type doesn't equal object store.destination. I tell you what, I'm just going to, for the moment, just do that. Oh. Alright, so we're going to do that. I'm just going to refresh. We're going to scroll down here. So we've got everything. But for some strange reason, when I add those two conditions in, I still think at the end of the day, computer science covers tons of areas. Yeah. You can, cybersecurity is a thing. Fair enough, yep. Are you using Z or something in your IDE? So I'm using the Vim bindings. So I like Vim. I'm not the best at Vim, so you'll hear me on my stream ask for advice on Vim. But ever since I had to start using it and so forth like that, I kind of fell in love with it and ended up just utilizing it constantly. So, yeah. Now, what I'm going to do is I am just going to go unfiltered data equals unfiltered data dot filter. We're just writing some temporary code at the moment. We're just going to write return true. That's perfectly fine. Oh, it's not going to like that. Delete before var a data. Who cares about a data? We're just going to go console.log. We're going to write in here object ID. And we're going to go row.object ID. I just want to make sure I'm not doing anything silly. And then we're going to go object type. And we're going to go row.object type. That's going to be that. So then we need that to be the object link interface. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this over here. So as you can see, these are all projects down to there. And the only one that it should be excluding is this one here. These requirements it should ignore and stuff like that. So easy done. We're going to go const condition1 equals with a row.object ID. We might just go passing this. So I'm going to pass this as an int because it's got to be an int does not equal the object store.id. Now this is throwing up an issue because it is already a number because of the typing. Then I'm just going to go const condition2 equals row.object type does not equal object store.destination. And then down here we're going to do the condition1 and condition2. All right. You tried using it. I'm way too used to the mouse feel. Yeah, it does. It definitely does at the time. I also still use the mouse to sort of right-hand click and paste certain things and so forth like that. I can see how someone must. Yeah. Wait, var in 2006. I thought it was bad. Oh, I'm temporary code. Temporary code. You can do some horrible stuff with temporary code. Alright, don't anyone tell you otherwise. So condition1 true, condition2 false, all of that. Alright, cool. So anything temporary, feel free to use var. And then what we need to do is just run conditions. We're just going to hit reload. We've got all falses. I think I've got the... Yeah, no, I figured this out now. So if I continue with this, so this is base conditions. It's going to be an OR statement, and that's where I've mucked up. All right. I'm going to keep these conditions. I think breaking it down down here is going to be a lot better. So I'm just going to yank those out. We're going to do some base conditions like that. We're going to remove the return and then return condition1 or condition2. So it doesn't matter which condition this meets. Essentially, if there's a mismatch here or a mismatch here, doesn't matter which one, we want to include this. If they're both exactly the same, then we don't want to include them. So that was my little mistake. Then we just do the filter like that. Yeah. Whenever doing temporary code, feel free to add in console logs, use var. If you're using TypeScript, put in a good old any in there. Usually it's just temporary code to figure out what's going wrong in this sort of section to be able to fix it. And as you can see, I just deleted it. That's fine. Once I figured it out, I was like, cool, done, figured it out, we're moving on. And there we go, we've got everything in there, but project one. And then the user won't be able to select the top one. I should also, because if I move that to the right now, yeah, there you go. I don't know why it's doing this, but I'm not going to worry about that just yet. All right, so we've got everything coming in, and then if we do something like that, it should, yeah, populate like that. Cool. Now, the add object function. This is where I method, say, JavaScript fetch method post with data. This is where I would use this. Just to give me an example, so we've got that, and then the body, and then, all right, cool, and we stringify the data up there. All right, cool. And that's how we're gonna do that. So we're gonna go const body equals, now I usually do data to send, but in this sort of case, hey, this is fun. So we've got the body. This is where we're gonna add an object. And I'm trying to remember, because it was last week that I set up this API endpoint, and I'm trying to remember off the top of my head exactly what I need to send. This is part of the object data link serializer. So we've got required. So we've got the object ID. We've got the object relation, and that goes through a dictionary. All right, cool. So we've got these two. Don't need that, read only, and object type. Cool. I'm just going to put that over there for reference. I just asked Claude about the difference between short circuit difference, and it says they're the same. I don't think they're right. I don't know if Twitch has format to your code. So using an order for short circuiting, like this. I think that comes from when I was doing C. Yeah, I don't think they've got... I might be wrong. Yeah, it's... But I might be on a different page. So using data order for short circuiting is about a lot. Give me 2 seconds. Actually, way too much red text there. Give me 2 seconds. Let's just move this off to the left. Let's go var A equals true, var B equals false, and what we want to do is we want to go and or B. Because some languages will have or and in them. It doesn't look like JavaScript does. And I know when I learned how to program C a long decades ago, yeah, we did that or that. Oh, you don't. Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry. There we go. A lot of red text here. So yeah, that just means an or. All right, so that's fine. It becomes second nature. The more you use it, it honestly becomes second nature and stuff like that. And yeah, there will be, if you use multiple different languages, you will start doing stuff like this. So you'll be, let's say, const condition 1 equals, let's say, Frank equals Sally. And then you might accidentally write in something like that because another language does something like that. It happens. You'll see me accidentally write Python instead of JavaScript. Alright, so we've got all that. We've got that. Now we're adding stuff in. Alright, cool. So we've got the const body. Now I need object ID. That is going to be the model. The model. So that will be object. Oh, it's right here. Relationship model object selector model. It'll be that one. Oh, this is where we actually got to split it up. All right, cool. So we're going to add in an escape condition first. If object selector model dot value equals null, or object selector value equals whoa, way too many double quotes there. Nothing to do. Return. That's just one of our escape conditions, and then what we got to do is we got to get the object type and the ID from the value. So what we could do is we're going to go const object barcode, and that will be the object selector. Yep. And this is where I keep messing it up between .NET, Python, and JavaScript. Give me 2 seconds. JavaScript split. I know I used this before as an example. String split. All right, cool. Yep, it is .split. And we're splitting it via the hyphen. We should know that that should be a string. Gotta have that nice little value in there. So that will then be object barcode. Oh, this is where I got to get the barcode right. So we're gonna have a look down here. In here. Let's just pick. So I've just picked something. If I go into the view, we need to go into the router, anonymous, base, project, anonymous in here. We want that add relationship. So that will be part of the Welk tabs. That will be part of the link object. Sorry, we've got to go so far down. And then we've got this. And then we've got the object selector. So we've got the type first and then the ID. So we're going to go 1 there, and we're going to go object type equals object barcode, and we're just going to put a 0 in there. Use Lua, JavaScript, and learning Python in college. My brain is already fair enough. It's personally for me, if I were to, I know this happened because also back in university, we had to learn a couple of languages at once, and I struggled with that. When I was able to focus just on one language, it sort of helped. But also, at the same time, this is the difficulty. So the higher the number, I've got the tablet. I could just use the tablet. A couple of seconds. Spent $50. I might as well use it. Forgot when I bought this. It was a couple of years now. I'll delete those. So, and there's a number of languages. The first language you ever learn will be the most difficult. Second language, not so much. Third language, meh. Fourth, meh. And then from there, it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And usually, this is just syntax. So, yeah. But yeah, learning multiple languages at once can be a bit difficult. I end up mucking up everything in my head. So, yeah. It's great fun when that happens. So, we've got the object type, we've got the object ID. We need the object relationship. And this will be relationship model. Alright, cool. So I just need to do that. There's our body. Then I need to do an await fetch. Oh, yes, that's what I wanted. API version 1. Data. Link list. I think. Link list. I can't spell. Yes. Yes, it is. I'm just gonna nick that one line, paste it in there, because it is that line that we're after. Alright, so then from here we need the init. The init will have the basic sort of header stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. Yep, that's 5. Just paste that in there, except this is going to be a post. So we're creating this link. I've got all of that, and this is where I needed to quickly relook at something else, which I think I close. So it's out. It's in the inner. All right, cool. Init. So it's still in here. It's body, and it's JSON stringify. And we just got body. And then we'll have a then. Got data. And then we'll have a catch. And just because I'm feeling exceptionally lazy, I'm just going to copy these 2 lines. Done. I've been on and off self-learning for 4 years, so yeah, most languages don't feel much different. Give it a nice start. C, C++, C#, JavaScript, Lua, Python. Why did I learn so many over time? I have no clue. I don't even remember. There's a lot of stuff you learnt with C and C++ that actually helped you with those other languages. So, for example, types. .NET has a lot of types in it. There's for loops, while loops, and all that kind of stuff, which has a lot of transferable knowledge. So the reason why this isn't as difficult, once again, I'm not using the frickin' pen, these are not as difficult is because you've already learnt the transfer knowledge. In programming, there's a lot of transferable knowledge. Don't worry about yapping, that's perfectly fine. Looking for GTA 5 development, C# for Unity, yep, fair enough. JavaScript for full stack, yep. C because I did Harvard's CS50 course, fair enough, yep. C++ because who knows, and Python for college, there we go, fair enough. So, I actually have a degree in maths, so I've got a Bachelor of Applied Science and Mathematics. So in our maths, we learnt C, MATLAB, and Maple. Maple mainly mathematical sort of based sort of stuff. MATLAB, yeah, once again mainly maths, but there's quite a lot of engineering with MATLAB. And see, I essentially got a job help building sort of simple database solutions, nothing extraordinary or anything like that. And from there, I learnt C++. And then all this knowledge, I eventually ended up learning Python to help automate my job, make repetitive tasks easy. From there, I also went into sort of upskilled myself with web development. This C, once again, boom, JavaScript. Well. All right, boom. A lot of the C stuff I knew went straight into JavaScript. From here, I also went into PHP. Clearly not on-brand PHP there. And what else? Also, C and C++ into .NET and stuff like that. So, yeah. And Microwave Coffee, how are you going? I like maths. I like the problem solving around maths, which is also probably why I really like programming. So, yeah. One of my buddies is in math. It is hellish from what I understand. Oh. I enjoyed it. There's some really fun stuff out there. So yeah, ads. All right, cool. Yep. We'll. I'll do this. There you go. No one misses out on content. So yeah. PHP. I can't even be bothered to learn. Fair. I would recommend people who do want to use PHP to use a framework, Laravel, for example. That way, it just extracts out all the more messy, complicated parts like authentication, managing databases and all that kind of stuff. It adds in a lot of the friendlier stuffs. Isn't there like backend solutions with Node nowadays and stuff? Yeah, there definitely is. I haven't used them, so I don't have an opinion on them. The reason why I haven't used them is just because I haven't had the chance to. That's it. That's really it. Learning Aramaic might be more useful than learning PHP. And welcome back, everyone. There's still a lot of WordPress sites out there. Just pointing that out. Alright. Where was I? So I've got the data. Now this is the thing when now that I've got the data, I've got to figure out how I can essentially show it. So what's happening? I'm gonna assume this works. It probably won't. Did it work? Oh, that button isn't connected. Of course it doesn't work. All right, options, button, on click, add object link. Did I put that under the add object link? Oh, all right. Let's just do the good old console log got here. Depends if you think you're going to older jobs, history. Yeah, there's a lot of, once again, a lot of WordPress sites out there. A lot of digital agencies still use WordPress. Those TypeScript CMS solutions still suck compared to WordPress are right now, unfortunately. Yeah, and hopefully they will improve and so forth like that. Having a large, diverse sort of landscape is always a lot better than actually having only one or two options. Yeah. A friend of mine was doing development for school and they still run their backend on PHP. Yeah. A lot of sites still use PHP. So I've used Laravel at my last job. It's essentially a framework for PHP. Oh, sorry, not a framework for PHP. It's a framework built with PHP. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this, but it also... See, it handles all the auth for you. Storage. No. ORM. Can't read. But it also helps you with RRM, so sort of doing that layer to the database, all that kind of stuff. Never asked a dev what their first P in PHP stands for. It's P, right? But then again, I'm immature. So yeah, I like Laravel. I've been meaning to jump back on it and reuse it. It has been a long time since using it. Just trying to find installation. There it is. Documentation. It's just fairly easy to get started. Oh, that page ain't working. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'll never wrap my head around the difference between a framework and a library. The only difference I've heard is a framework kind of already has something built for you. You just work around it, and a library is just a utility. I do believe that is the definition. Then again, you know, people tell me React is in a library. So at the end of the day, I'm like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. But yeah, the only people who keep going on about it are the pedants that are alright, so did I connect this up correctly? Let's find out. Ooh, actually no I didn't. I've got a couple of bits of red text here. Oops, wrong side. That was meant to go all the way to the left. I'm just going to hit refresh. I'm just going to do that again. So we did get the got here. Unhandled error during the uncalled error in promise. Cyclical object values. Oh no. Alright, cool. So I've got here barcode. Let's go console log. I'm just gonna go barcode. Object barcode. I'm just gonna go body. Just easier. Alright, I'm just going to refresh to clear all of that text. We're just going to click on that and we're just going to go, alright, cool. So, we have this. We've got object 2, we've got the relationship, dot value. It's always something simple. Alright, we're done like that. We're just going to click that. We're just going to do that. So, that now works. Now, we've got a 405 method not allowed, so I've got to figure out what I'm doing wrong. That requires me jumping into the backend side of things, so I'm just going to minimize everything. I'm going to open up NearBeach. I'm going to open up NearBeach. I am going to PHP, have a text processor. Yeah. I forgot about that one. There's also Wine. Wine is not an emulator. Where am I? I'm over here. I want to go interviews, API. I want to go, this is part of project API sort of stuff, because we're doing this weird sort of thing where it connects into this, and we're only got small things in here. So we've got a post. We've had this happen before. So what's actually happening is we've got the URL path here, but we've got a duplicate path here. We do have that somewhere else. It's here with the deleting, where we've got to match it up. So we need to actually match it up and then get rid of the link path for the post, which is easy. So what we do is we just go link list dot, this is where I go. All right, so that's a part of that. And we're just going matching.patch. Sorry, actually, mapping.post.patch. Then we get rid of the actions. And then this now connects to this. All right, so they've got both the same URL. Oh, I'm just going to delete all of that. I'm just going to hit play again. Ooh, 500 internal error. All right, that's fine. Oops, clicked on the wrong thing. Means I screwed up. Object dictionary has no attribute data. All right, cool. So we can breakpoint this now. So we hit here, and then we go into link service. In the link, sorry, we create the link service, and then we do the create. So I'm just gonna do this here, where oh, wine. Sorry. It's a compatibility layer. So, yeah. I used to use this quite a lot several decades ago, so just to get certain games running and so forth like that. However, nowadays we've got the Proton. Whoa, I'm on the wrong screen. Whoa, I'm clicking the wrong things. But yeah, nowadays I'm using Proton because it's built into Steam. Also a compatibility layer that allows Windows software, primarily video games, to run on Linux-based operating systems. Yeah. So I'm now looking at the Proton database. Ooh, alright. It's a pity I already bought this on the Battle.net, not Steam. Oh well. If memory serves me correctly, it was made by someone else, and Valve sort of brought them on. So it is developed by Valve at the moment. Overview was initially released. Upon release, Valve announced a list of 25 tests. Oh. I just don't know the history enough. Don't know. I'm going to say I don't know, mainly because I could easily be thinking of something else. And I just don't know the history around this. But I'm glad it's out, so... All right, query dict has no attribute data. That's perfectly fine. What we're going to do is we're going to hit this. We're going to hit this breakpoint down here. We're just going to move forward. Oh. Oh. All right, so we're going to go into here. We're also going to realize that I've done something silly, and it should be that. All right, I'm just gonna. Oh yeah, there's this way. I'll refresh. There we go. Go back to the console. We're gonna get rid of that. I'm just gonna pick something random, and I'm just gonna do that. All right, now we're here. Object dictionary has no. All right, I'm doing something weird. All right, it should be something like that. Yeah. So link serializer, and then we should have data equals that. If we go into the link serializer, this is just a plain old serializer, and those are all the fields that we've got. Whereas the project serializer is actually based on something else. I just use Firefox. Nothing special about Firefox. I don't add too many extensions to it. I've got the Vue extension, just an ad blocker. Yeah. All right. Sorry, sucks. I didn't mean to scare you. Okay. But yeah, that should be a basic serializer. Why it's failing? Hold on. Oh, I think I know why. Oh, I didn't want to click that. It doesn't show me where I've used this before. No, piss off. Alright, I'm going to bring this over here. Should be that. But yeah, I'm using request multiple times. All right, that was a mistake on my side. I've just put request.post. It should just be request. All right, we are waiting for the data to come back. We are just going to do this. We've hit that. We should just bypass that now. There we go. He's done. I'm just going to hit play and hope for the best. Object relation. Oh man. It doesn't say much about object relation. All right. So what I'm going to do, we got that. I'm going to sneeze. Sorry about that. You've had issues with Firefox taking up tons of memory. Oh, yep. Use it. in both Windows and Linux, and it always happens to me as soon as I close my computer, it goes back to normal. Thank you. Yeah, the complexities of browsers nowadays, using a lot of RAM and stuff like that. So yeah, I do feel your pain around it. I don't know how much, like, I remember 16 gig being a lot for a system. I've now got 60 full gig. Firefox. I'll just boop. There you are. You are using 800 megabytes. Okay, that's not too bad. That's but then again, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tabs open. I have 64 as well. That's the thing, and Google has always been my go-to because of that very. Fair enough. I don't know what Firefox is like. You said you use Windows? Both Windows and Linux. All right. Yeah. All right. Why did I do that? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'll just do this. All right. We're posting that. We've gotten here. So this line runs perfectly fine. No, it doesn't. All right. All right, I'm going to do that again. I'm just going to hit play. We've hit this line. So we've got the serializer. All right, this is my bad. It's meant to be validated data. Whoops. Stop and rerun. There you go. Very big computers, wondering if it's like an extension of something. And possibly. I don't have many extensions on my browsers. Once again, I have the Vue tools, just basic sort of ad block. The other ones which I do have installed, but they're not really enabled, is a dark mode reader, which I can uninstall because that was mainly used just to essentially make things dark mode when it wasn't there. I've got the Axe Dev tools, which is just accessibility testing, and the GNOME Shell integration. Oh, and I've got container. Oh no, containers are built in nowadays. Oh, and Wave. But that's turned off. What do I have? Just ad blocker, ultimate. Nothing special. Alright. Object type not in system. Alright, that's good. Object type task ID. What? Oh. Alright, I've made a mistake somewhere. Sorry, my brain's turning itself off. It's been a long day. So we've got all of that. We're getting data from the backend. It's under object. No, it's not. It's under. Where is this thing? Not user potential. Yep, there it is. So there's something in here where I've set some config to say task ID instead of the proper thing. Task object alert, there it goes, there it is. It's not meant to be, sorry, that one's meant to be that. It's this one here that's meant to be task. So that's where the error came from. So now it just says task because the object is a task. If I just refresh the page. So the great news is that functionality of it coming back as an error worked perfectly. Now we've got a 500. Field meta object expected a number but got project. Uh, 77. Link with service. So meta object, actually that, yeah, that would be a meta object. Set meta object. So meta object type. All right. Give me a couple of seconds. I'm gonna have to look at the model around this again. Meta object, oh, that is a, all right. And then that's the title, that's the status. So that should be single object .pk. All right, good night, Ernie. Thank you very much for hanging out, and I do hope to see you again in later streams. So yeah, thank you. All right, so that meta object's got to be like that. Yeah, let's just test this. All right, no problem. Object assignment object has no attribute object ID. What? I'm just going to put a breakpoint there and redo that. All right, single object. It probably wants ID instead of PK. But the PK is there. Unless I'm mistaken and this isn't the line of code that's causing us trouble, in which case we're going to go forward and we're going to be like, eh. So we've got object assignment, object title, get attribute the title. Yep, that's what we want. Get object status. Oh. Oh, sorry. Big yawn. Is it that one that it breaks on? Yeah, no, not yet. All right, cool. We're gonna go forward. We've got the save. All right, it's saved it. We've got the serializer. And then we return true. We have a success. Create. Oh, all right. Got attribute error when trying to get the value object ID on the link serializer. The serializer field might be named incorrectly, or the key on the object instance is. All right. Sorry, just racking my brain at the moment. All right. We're going to put a breakpoint here. We're going to make sure there's no other ones. We're just going to hit this again. We're going to remove that breakpoint. We're just going to hit play till we get to here. And we're happy with this. So this serializer... So the ID is 66, the object ID. All right. I think I know what's going on here. We do a little conversion from the value that's in here into here. So I'm just having a quick think how I could do that. Oh, sorry. Ooh, it's a big yawn. So yeah, that object ID is always required. Yeah, all right. And we got the object assignment ID with we've got to go from this wherever it is. There it go. We've got to go from this into a link serializer. This doesn't have the same shape, and that's why that's failing. We've got like an ID, but we don't have an object ID in here, and so forth like that. Yeah. I'm just going to do some temp code. We're just going to go Bob equals submit object assignments dot annotate. Oh yeah, we don't have annotations. Or annotate, sorry. Anything like that, because it's the object itself. What if I do something like this? I'm just going to put the link serializer on the right. I'm just going to close any tabs I do not need open at the moment because holy hell, that will make my life a lot easier. We're going to go object assignment ID. That's going to be submit object assignment dot ID. Easy done. I need to put this in a little low. All right. We've got the object ID. That's just going to be the sorry. I've now remembered why I sent back all the data. So, I just gotta figure this part out. I mean, in reality, I don't think I need to do any of this. I'm overthinking stuff. We've got the get parent link, get meta object. There's the create. Where's the delete? Get list. That's all of that in. Oh, that's the thing. We don't know if it's what type it is. Come here. Ooh, you okay? She's like, no, you're touching me. All right. Because that goes through all of that, and then we've got all of this where we've got the object ID, object title, the stuff we need, and this is what we've got to return back. Is that right, Socks? Just like yes. Alright. And then if it's meta and all that kind of stuff, this is And in reality, I only want to send back just that particular result. For tonight, I just really want to get it to work. Because I got the delete to work. I'm at that point where I'm just super tired now. I want to get this done. Essentially, once this is done, I can move on to the documentation note, and hopefully these won't take as long, because I'm well behind schedule now. Hopefully these will take next to nothing, and then I can get all of these done too, which shouldn't take as long. All right, for the moment, I'm just doing that. All right, so when we add something in, we got a success. So I've added in project 2. Project 2 isn't in here at the moment. A refresh. And there's project 2. I've also just realized I'm not showing, like I'm at the status, but I don't have what these are. Alright, that's a different thing. But the create is working. I think the delete is also working. We're gonna fix up all of that, but yeah. Alright, I'm probably gonna call it there. My brain's checked out. I'm sorry. We're gonna raid Hypnotic Games, who is no longer just a head of things. He's now got a body. That will make sense when we raid. I'll bring him down here and I'll stop that from playing. But yeah, thank you very much everyone for being here tonight. It has been good. We got a lot done. I do want to actually get this whole thing completed because this is actually a very key component of NearBeach. Once this is done, hopefully the documentation won't take as long. And then hopefully the notes and comments and so forth won't take as long. I might actually... yeah, I don't know what. Sorry, my brain's just checking out. I need more sleep. So, alright, thank you very much, everyone. And for those on YouTube, thank you very much for being here. Sadly, you won't be able to join us, but don't forget to like and subscribe. It does help the channel. So, yeah, thank you.